8,000 quilt panels are displayed during the days of the Smithsonian Folklife Festival in the nation's capital. They honor tens of thousands of different people who died of AIDS.
Starting with the taping of place cards with names of friends and family affected by AIDS on the Federal Building in San Francisco. For the first time, numbers became names. 25 years later, the AIDS Memorial Quilt has made its way once again to the National Mall. The quilt has impacted many, including volunteers, onlookers, and those personally affected.
During the festival, the names are read by any person who volunteers. Many have personal connections to the quilt. Linda and Raul Menares are two of the volunteers whose lives have been touched.
Our connection to the quilt is that 19 years ago we were here for the first International AIDS Quilt Conference, and we were here to see my brother's panel for the first time since we had turned it in the year before. The hurt, the pain, the joy, everything is still there. We had a very deep connection, and it's a beautiful thing to see that it's still being, memorialized like this, and people who have never seen it are here for the first time and asking about it. AIDS still exists. It still exists in our community. It hasn't gone away. It just we don't talk about it anymore. So that's why I'm here.
Right. So we don't talk about it anymore because people see it as a chronic condition. But yet, at the time when this was hitting us, it wasn't a chronic condition. It was an epidemic that was at its all-time high. It was designed by one of our friends, and he designed it, we painted it, we added the picture, everyone signed. We had a group of about 20 to 30 individuals, that family friends, people that knew him. We kind of had a party and put this together.
My brother was always about being happy and spirited and getting people together.
And he was an artist.
And my brother was the most handsome, beautiful soul man in this world. We lost him to this terrible disease back in the day when ignorance was at its all-time high. Discrimination was at an all-time high. People were confused and scared, and there was very little funding.
Globally, the quilt represents 38 countries and inspired the women of the Orphan Tower of South Africa to come to America and spread the word.
The women at the Common Thread stand at the festival come from Donhauser Village in rural South Africa to raise money by selling beaded cloth dolls, symbolic of the orphans left behind by the AIDS epidemic. The tower features 634 dolls, one for each orphan.
One of the women explains to us that the tower for me is a memory of Sarah, who left behind an orphan. The tower is a memory to honor, to respect, to remind us of the orphan children who are forgotten.
Today we are here because we're coming with our artwork that was done in our own village. That is telling the devastation caused by HIV and AIDS in our own village. People are able to express what's happening in their own village through art.
The quilt also brings volunteers and people not personally affected by AIDS, but who feel a responsibility to give back.
Hi, my name's James Latta. I'm a volunteer at the Folklife Festival, and I'm from Woodbridge, Virginia. It's my first year working at the Folklife Festival, and I wanted to work here because it's good to give back and volunteer in the community.
For me, it was probably one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life, to care for my brother. And yet at the same token, it was one of the most beautiful times in my life. My brother taught me how to live and die with grace.
After 25 years of the quilt and 30 years of AIDS, the message and the memory lives on.
Jeff Edwards, Patrick Fitzpatrick, Joe Gamble, Hal George.